Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Champagne Room Secrets podcast. I am your host today, Candi. The lovely Kitty is producing from behind the camera. And today we are joined by the lovely, beautiful, amazing, talented, stunning Edie Eve.
Hi.
Kitty and I know Edie Eve from burlesque.
I just heard of Hex in the City and I'm like, oh man, I love this show. What a cool show. For the longest time I felt when I had to do burlesque, I had my burlesque persona and my sex worker persona.
Right.
And I had to hide it. Yeah. And what I love so much about Hex in the City is that it's so pro sex work, pro marginalized folks, pro everything that people might look down upon. It's pro that. And that I love that because it's like, ooh, I can be a sex worker and I can be a proud sex worker.
Also, I just want to acknowledge we're dressed up. I'm like, what if we just kept going and didn't acknowledge us at all? We've been wanting to interview Edie for a really long time because I learned about Edie having a stripper past and a little bit sprinkled here and there. And so I've been wanting to interview you, but Halloween was a few days ago and I was a little overserved. I was very excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to interview you this week because we need to film our next week episode. And Edie was just fucking game. And then I don't know if it was that night or a little bit later. I think it was that night. You were like, I have a theme picked out.
As Mariah Carey sings, it's time. It's time. It's Christmas. We're in November. Yeah. It is Christmas. So it's time to watch the Christmas films. And One of my favorite Christmas films, and I will argue with anyone, this is a Christmas film, is Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise. That is a Christmas film. So we are dressed up as characters from the orgy scene.
So I had never seen Eyes Wide Shut. So I thought in preparation for this theme that you were so excited about, I will watch it. And first of all, it fucking stresses me out so much because it's one of those movies where you're like, just be Polly. The movie starts and I'm like, oh my God, they're in this lovely open relationship that's so hot. And it turns out wrong. And then they're just yelling at each other. And I'm like, I'm itchy. I'm stressed.
And it turns out her quote cheating was she imagined having sex with another man, not fucking another person, imagining that she is fucking another person. And that is, oh my God, the marriage is in shambles.
Listen, I don't want to judge, but compulsive monogamy and heterosexuality just stresses me out so much. But there was a sex worker in it. So, we're okay talking about it.
Yay, yep.
And she charged not enough.
Besides Eyes Wide Shut being a Christmas film, I recently did a show with Baloney SF, which is a incredible all-gay male review. And we did a production called Eyes Wide Shut. So it was inspired by specifically the orgy scene of Eyes Wide Shut. Right. I played the dominatrix. Well, I got to wear all of my patent leather and bring all my BDSM gear and just spank the shit out of a bunch of random strangers.
Are you telling me gay men like orgies?
Yeah, yes, they do.
Oh my God.
They very well do.
I'm so shocked. And we're also drinking a cute little mocktail out of my favorite they're little birds.
Birds, 3 years sober.
Woo! Oh, congratulations! 3 years. Amazing. It's a little sparkly tea drink.
I love that I'm drinking it from the asshole.
You mentioned burlesque, and Kitty mentioned the story earlier. You have an interesting situation where some hosts in burlesque gave you some shit or maybe it wasn't very nice about you also being a sex worker.
In burlesque, a lot of folks have taglines. One of my taglines that I had was stripper by day and stripper by night. And it was just meant to say that I'm a stripper. Stripping is my 24/7 job, and also I'm a stripper at the burlesque shows. So I'm a stripper all year round.
I love that. It's very camp.
Yeah. Twice this happened, and I wrote stripper by day, stripper by night. One host said showgirl by day, showgirl by night. And I was like,
wait, they just changed it?
They just changed it.
Asking?
And it's but it says stripper by day, stripper by night, babe. Another one was at a bar show. The host literally made it a point on the microphone to say, I'm not gonna say this word. She's a showgirl by day and showgirl by night. It's whorephobic and that's disrespectful, and it's great, you don't know the history of burlesque.
What was your first foray into the work?
Okay, I'm gonna take it back to my origin story.
Time travel.
Time travel. I remember feeling like something in my pants when I watched Wayne's World and seeing Tia Carrera in lingerie.
Not think you were going to say Wayne's World.
Well, you know Tia Carrera?
Yes, of
beautiful
course.
Filipino woman. There's one scene where she's wearing like this full-on like white lingerie set. Who wears lingerie most of the time? Strippers! Yay! So I just loved strippers. I thought, oh my God, these people are so cool. I just felt this power and magic from sex workers. Even though people look down on sex workers, people, I believe, secretly are obsessed with sex workers because there's power and magic to that. So high school was 2005 to 2009 for me. This in the early ooh-oohs.
Oh, Y2K fashion. Like, no, that's the ooh-ooh.
There was a website that was pretty popular called Suicide Girls. Suicide Girls really were marketing themselves as, we're the alternative Playboy.
As long as you're white and thin.
I was just going to say that. You know, they have Suicide Girls burlesque. They won't have trans women. They won't have plus size women. And they won't have women over a certain age. Yeah. So you're actually not the opposite of Playboy. You're actually still playing into Playboy. You just happen to have tattoos and piercings. Right. I had a profile. You have a profile. You can see all the photos and you can blog. It's so funny. I think my profile is still up and you can see all my musings from senior year of high school and freshman year of college. And once I turned 18...
Did you actually wait till you turned 18?
Yes, I did. I had a homie, super hipster homie, take photos of me, artistic photos of me. You submit your photo shoot and you're first in the hopefuls. So you're hopeful that you'll get to the main page and they'll give you like, what, $500? Okay. I think it wasn't, anything super extreme or graphic. It's artistic nudes. Didn't get on Suicide Girls. Did another photo shoot. But were people
able to like see your content and like comment and like jerk off to it and stuff?
Yep.
And you titties out? Yep. Bush out?
Pussy out. Yep.
Okay, there you go. Yep. So you were, whatever, fuck Suicide Girls, but you were essentially like working on there.
Yeah.
As a worker. And that was your first thing.
I met one dude who would pay me to do shibari, which is Japanese rope tie bondage modeling. I also worked with this other gross dude who would do like fetish photography with me and messy food photography with me at his apartment. He was gross.
A man with a camera being gross? Yeah. Now you can look back at it like years later, probably, I don't know, like a decade or more than a decade later.
Yes, yep.
And you feel like you were probably exploited. Did you feel like that at the time?
I'm going to be honest, I was raised in a very strict Mexican Catholic family in San Diego. I did not start masturbating until I was 19. So I was performing sexuality without really understanding my sexuality. Once I started masturbating and really understanding my sexuality, I met another person on Model Mayhem who would pay me to take nude photos. And then he said, hey, like, if I give you X amount of money, can like I video record us having sex? And I was like, okay. It's just kind of baby steps into sex work.
That's kind of a big step, like having, if there's like sex tapes of you out there, like what was your thought process?
With the other dude, I would do, blowjob photos with him. And so it was like porn-esque, but it was baby steps. It was like nude photos for Suicide Girls. Then it was blowjob photos. Then it was let's have sex on camera. So it's just, it's kind of baby steps and shibari.
One is kind of like a gateway to like the next thing. So when did you get into in-person work then?
It was right before I graduated. I worked at the Lusty Lady Peepshow in North Beach.
R.I.P. We interviewed another ex-dancer. Neptune/Vix had told us some things like they would be dancing peep show, but maybe sex shows. And then also people might be like watching you guys if it's like a couple and like
jerking off and fucking. Yep. When you first start off in sex work, you don't know what a lot of money is. You don't know what a good night is. You don't know. Good nights are different for everyone. When you're young, and let's say in one night you go home with $300.
Right. And you guys were paid hourly.
We were paid hourly, and we would get paychecks weekly. There were a few dancers who they would find ways to like steal money. You're in the main floor, and if someone's in the booth and they're like, I want to do a private room with you. You go to then the private room. It's a little bigger. And, you do the show, you might masturbate in front of them, jerk off, whatever.
And there's always a glass.
Yep, there's always a glass
or something.
But then once you're done, you say, hey, can you tip me? Da-da-da. They'll put their tip in a little slot, but there was one slot that was kind of broken. So the dancers would say, "Hey, can you put your tip in that slot?" And then once they were gone,
did anyone try to stick their dick tip into the slot or no?
No.
Okay,
no. I think because it was right to the side. Someone did fuck a burrito, and they left the fucking porno room fucking messy.
Wait. Okay, go back. They had a burrito.
Yep.
Like dug a little hole and they're like penetrating.
Yep. They got a burrito at a taqueria in North Beach and they fucked a burrito.
I'm sure that's like, it's kind of like the apple pie thing. Like
yeah.
Pie, right?
Yeah. What if they paid one of us to eat it?
Would you have eaten it? What
The Price is Right.
Would you have eaten the cum burrito?
Well, I was young back then. I would do, photo shoots here and there, but I was still working at a frozen yogurt shop. So going home with $300 was like, oh my God.
Right. No,
Other nights where I went home with $3,000.
$3,000 at the Lusty?
For that one, it was a bachelor party at some members only club in San Jose.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, fun. Because I was going to ask, like, did you ever like meet clients outside of the Lusty Lady specifically?
Oh, don't judge me. Listen.
Okay, this is like literally the most like unjudgmental space. I'm drinking out of a bird's ass right now.
First, going to start off by saying a cab.
Yeah, a cab. Absolutely.
But when you need money, you need money. There's this police officer who would come in.
Canceled.
I'm canceled. And we would go to the private area. He liked role playing where I'm like changing and I'm naked and he's like acting like a creeper.
Okay. Like you don't know that he's there.
Yes, I don't know that he's there. So it was like the peeping Tom.
And you're like, oh, my bra is so uncomfortable.
Yes.
I'm gonna take it off.
And
he's
then, yes. It was
like your men are so gross.
It was.
We love them. We love men. We love men.
Their money.
I'm so sorry. I have to take this off because it's catching on my eyelashes.
While I was working with Lusty, I did a couple field trips to Portland. I think what people forget is like there is such a thing as new girl money.
Yeah.
New worker money. So of course, I'd go to Portland. I think my favorite was Rose City Strip. I think that's what it was called. I made really great money. I made more money there at night than I would within a week at the Lusty Lady.
Of course.
So it's
right,
great.
because you're able to keep at least most of your money.
Yes, keep most of the money and take it home that night. And then I went again in the winter, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to Guam because some of the dancers were recommending Guam.
To work at strip clubs?
Yeah, to work at a strip club. You get a contract in Guam. If you want to go to Guam, don't expect that you're going to make bank. See it as an opportunity that you're going to get a free vacation. Yeah. You're going to get flued out.
They fly you out?
Yep. Well, you sign a contract, so they'll fly you out.
Okay.
And you have to work off that, that flight.
Oh, so it's just a loan.
It's basically a loan. Like they give you room and board, and then you sell drinks. It's a lot of selling drinks and a lot of selling dances, and then you dance on stage. And I kind of went because there was one dancer who said, oh my God, I made all this money and it was amazing and you'll get a VIP once a week.
Oh my God. That's like the tale as old as time when you're a stripper. Like,
yes.
You have to go here. The money's here. Go to Miami. Go to New York. I'm like, well, I went to New York last month and guess what? No one would fucking hire me.
It's so true. It's just, it's the promises of riches. When you travel, don't expect anything. Don't expect anything.
Right. It's just like, it's like a fun thing to do. If you make money, bonus, but like just try to like break even and whatever. I had never heard of that. Like other places, at least like up front, like flying people out and offering room and board. To me, that sounds like almost like the brothel setup where you go live at a brothel. And I forgot, we had a brothel worker interview once. I forgot what the money was, but I think they have to pay to live there or it gets like taken out of their like wages or something like that. How old are you at this time? Do you remember?
I was 22.
Okay, so you're still very young.
I was 22.
We're still like pretty much almost like the beginning of your like sex work journey, because that was 10 years ago. When you came back here, did you have like a home club ever, like somewhere you like were consistently going, or were you just kind of traveling a lot?
Yes, I traveled a lot. Went to Vegas, that was a bust. Went to Guam, bust. Sugar daddy took me to Tokyo.
Okay, tell us about the sugar daddy. Was this your first sugar daddy?
I've really only had one sugar daddy. It was this dude.
Really? You've only had one? I would have thought you had like a whole roster of them.
That's very sweet of you. No, I don't know. But yeah, I had this one sugar daddy that was kind of like a sugar daddy to a lot of the lusties.
Oh, so he was like a collector.
Yes.
He's like collecting you guys like Pokemon cards.
But I went to Tokyo and I worked as a shibari model, and I got to stay at the hotel where they filmed Lost in Translation. Which is so incredible. There's some really amazing things. That's the thing about sex work, is that there's like some really incredible, amazing stories, and then there's
you get like a lot of opportunities to get stuff that like not like people just like don't get to do with like normal jobs. Yeah.
And then there's some fucked up moments that I don't wish upon anyone. So, you know, that's how it is.
I mean, it's such an exploitative industry, like kind of whatever way you slice it.
Yeah.
And you just always have to be like on guard, like listening to your instincts. But even then, like.
Yeah. So I moved back to SF, and then I started working at the Crazy Horse. And it was all nude because of no alcohol, which is great. I know you're not here for a motherfucking drink. You're here because you want some sexy time.
That's a good point, because I've never been in I've never worked at a nude club, but you've told me you prefer that. Is that because of the alcohol thing, or is that because you just prefer to be fully nude?
Well, both, because, and even this was before I was sober. I just loved working at the Crazy Horse because I'm not competing with alcohol. I'm not competing with the bar. We're not playing fucking sports shit. Not competing with that.
That honestly does sound good.
Yeah. You know, it's all nude, so I don't have to worry about wearing double panties like I had to wear when I worked in Scottsdale. Didn't have to worry about, like, there's like, when I worked at the Crazy Horse Vegas, they were very strict about you can't show fupa, you can't show flap.
Yeah.
You can't show the ham sandwich. They're very strict, and that's what I love about.
They have that up in the dressing room.
No ham sandwich showing on the floor. It was just so easy. It's like I don't have to worry about a host dude or a guard yelling at me for showing too much flap. Really? And I'm not competing with a motherfucking bar. I know why you're here, because you want to get a lap dance.
So for the full nude, did you do contact lap dances?
Yes.
Because when you're grinding on a guy and you're wearing a G-string, it's like you have like a level of protection.
Yeah.
But you don't have that if you're nude.
Yeah.
And you didn't really think about it. It wasn't a thing.
You make sure to wash up at night, you know, with the, you know, sometimes people be coming in with dirty ass pants. You know, there's just pros and cons, but I loved it. It was just easy. And I will say that because I don't work full time at a strip club anymore, but I love the feeling of giving a lap dance, and an all nude lap dance. Just, it's so like therapeutic for me. And I went to a strip club this past year in Vegas, Palomino, and I got a private room with a dancer, and she was so beautiful and so fun, but she was very talky. Yeah. And I realized, like, oh, I feel like that's like, I like more of quiet and just like touching. And that was my style of lap dance. And I miss that. I miss giving lap dances. If anybody wants to get a lap dance from me, comment on, do 150 for 10 minutes plus tip.
Honestly, that's a good deal.
That's a good deal. I still love sex work, and I still do it here and there, just very little.
Yeah, you're more of like an independent worker.
So what happened was I gained weight, and, you know, a lot of the dancers would comment on that. Even if they thought it was nice, even
to
if
your
they
face?
said, yeah, they would be like, oh, you're curvy. Oh, you gained weight. But you do burlesque. So, you know, you should, and I used to have an eating disorder in high school. And there was also another, like, one time I was dancing on stage, and this guy was like, oh my God, you look like Ariana Grande, but thick. And I'm just like, listen, even if you think it's a compliment, please don't comment on people's bodies.
Right, yeah.
Please don't. Please, even if you're like, oh my God, you're so beautiful, you're skinny. It's like, you don't know where that person's at. So there was a combination of just like, I gained weight. People were commenting on my weight. AB5, which is basically all independent contractors now have to be employees, which kind of fucks over sex workers and strippers. And so that was happening. Our club was really like the last ones in the Bay to switch over.
Yeah.
But this was 2019. And then I got offered, because I also did like other work in the arts. Then I got an offer to work full time at this one job. And I was like, you know what? Yes, I think it's mentally, I'm ready.
Yeah.
You know, I think the universe, I listen to the universe. You got to listen to the voice in the back of your head. I think the universe is telling me, like, I don't want to do this as a full-time thing anymore.
Yeah.
I've done it for like the past 10 years. So this was 2019. And then beginning of 2020, the club flips over to employees. I have my new job. And then the Panini, the Panorama, the Panasonic, the Pan Dulce, the pandemic happens in March 2020.
Yeah.
And, that changes everything.
Yeah.
And now, 2023, I do burlesque, but also I love, like, one of the last shows I did was Bad Bitch Burlesque. And it was like underground strip club. I love it. It felt like a strip club.
I know. I saw your post today. It was so good. You guys should check it out. I think it just is at the Instagram.
At Bad Bitch Burlesque, I made over $600 in tips alone.
That's amazing.
I just love it. I love shows that just have that strip club vibe that really prioritizes sex workers. I started doing burlesque when I worked at the Lusty. A lot of the sex workers at the Lusty were also theater performers, and they did drag and they
circus
did
probably.
Circus, yeah.
Yeah.
Vix.
Right.
They did circus, they did all that. So I asked, I was like, hey, what are the shows? And back then, 2013, there was really most of the shows were produced by men. And really, it was a very gatekeeping kind of era. And it really sucked. It really sucked.
We started in 2016, and it was pretty much
gatekeeping.
The same.
Yeah, it was the same male producers, hiring the same people, hiring people that they were attracted to.
Right.
And that's it. And I was encouraged to take burlesque classes at a school in Oakland, and I did for several years. Then I stopped because I did not like this instructor. And this instructor would also say things like, well, twerk, but do classy twerking.
Now, how are you going to do that?
She was very classy.
Throw that ass back like the Queen of England would.
Yeah. No, this was 2013. She didn't like twerking. She didn't think it was classy. She would also say she didn't like it when people would wear their pasties or lingerie out and about.
Oh, like after you perform, when you go out?
Yeah. Yeah, she didn't like that.
Burlesque is so fucking low stakes. Let us live. If you want to do that, who cares? Unless it's a law thing, right?
Yes, if it's a law thing, like blue laws, yes, I get it. But it was just so classist.
Well, she got ran out of the community, so.
Yeah. And I don't feel sorry for her. But anyways, stopped working 2019, stopped working at the Crazy Horse.
So you were there for a long time.
I was there for a very long time. I don't know if I'll go back to traditional strip clubs anymore because I want to disrupt the system.
Yeah, I know. I feel the same way because it is such a fun job. That's why I went to New York last month to try work at some clubs and then just not being hired anywhere. I'm I think I'm done trying to work.
I think I'm done.
Clubs. And also just money wise and hours wise, it just doesn't make sense with my other current work.
Yeah.
That is super, it's not consistent all the time, but it's the quality of the clients and the customers are so much better. I'm my own boss. Yeah. No one's taking my 60%.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I think you'd probably be open to that too. If the opportunity arose.
Yes. Yeah. And the thing is that I think I love seeing that there are producers and performers that are really pushing for diversity. They're pushing for prioritizing sex workers and saying, I'm a sex worker and I'm doing this show and I'm prioritizing other sex workers and other sex workers that don't get these opportunities because they don't get hired at these clubs.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I love sex work. I love my past. Will I ever go back to traditional corporate clubs? No.
Yeah, but there's so many other options. I remember you and I were talking maybe a year or two ago about doing a little business for even bachelor parties or stuff like that.
Yes, I love it. Yep,
Which I would still be down, but I don't know if I want to start another business. But I'm I would definitely be down if people had that opportunity to be hell yeah, I'll go to a bachelor party and totally break out I have so many fucking pleasers in my closet. Break out some pleasers. Get on there.
But anyways, that's kind of just my story.
Yeah,
it's
that's
been
amazing.
A wild ride, and I'm just.
You sound like you have such a level head about it. You just you've not always had positive experiences, but even the negative ones you look back on and be a little more reflective, and it doesn't feel like the industry spat you out. You kind of naturally kind of floated away from it when it wasn't serving you as much.
When it wasn't serving me, and when again, I tell folks. Listen to your intuition. Listen to the voice in the back of your head. If it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't serve you, you have to step away from it. Yeah. So, and also just create. And that's something I would love to help produce shows. And I would love to just, help in any ways to produce nights that are like queer strip club nights. I love that. I want more of that.
Yeah.
Create those spaces.
Hey, it's 2024.
Yep, 2024.
Make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. We want to disrupt the system.
Because guess what? Everyone loves a titty. And people should be able to spend a dollar on it, and we should be able to keep all of that dollar.
I see beauty in everyone.
Exactly.
Like,
here's the thing. Anyone can be hot.
Yeah.
Hotness can be achieved by anyone, and I fully believe that.
Yep.
Thank you so much for coming out to our little studio, aka my house, and sharing your story. I've been wanting to interview you for a long time because you're just so happy and positive, and I'm like, what is the deal here? What's going on? No one who's been in the industry this long is like this lovely to be around, but I just love your outlook on it. I think it's great, and we don't get to hear a lot of these stories, especially on media representations and stuff. So thank you so much on behalf of the CRS team. And is there anything you would like to promote, your social media handles, or you have an OnlyFans?
I will say that my OnlyFans is a little inactive, but I still have a lot of cool stuff. If you're still new,
if you got a bunch of subscribers, I'm sure you would put some, more time into it.
Yes, if I got more subscribers, I'd put more time into the OnlyFans. But I still have a lot of really great stuff there from back catalog that if you want to check out. It's Edie Eve, EDIEEVE. Please follow me on Instagram. I have a bunch of brunch shows coming up in November.
Yay!
And then I think the most notable is I have a show called Misfit Cabaret coming in December.
Fun.
December 15th, 16th, 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. That's a holiday show, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And just follow me on Instagram because I'll tell you where I'm at.
Perfect. And then while you're doing that, make sure to follow CR Secrets Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and the other ones, even though those are the ones we're more active on. And subscribe to the podcast, either to our YouTube channel here, or we have all of our episodes and our backlog on just auditory versions on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that, which will be linked down below. So thank you so much for sticking around. And we, hope to do a lot more of these visual episodes and keep it up. So let us know what you think, and
let us know if you want to hear more stories from me, because I have stories from Phoenix,
I would say,
from Scottsdale,
if we have
from Brooklyn, from Las Vegas. Ooh, I have a lot.
I was telling Kitty if we had something with the three of us, it could be a little less structured and kind of more like stories, or play a little game or something like that. That could be really fun. All right, see you next time.
Peace out. What I loved about Dita was that she did sex work. She was a feature stripper. She did porn
star. Is that the one with the shoe dildo?
Yes.
I watched it actually because you had me watch it. Look it up. Find it. It's great.